Welcome back. Today I am working on one of my jacks. So I have this 20-something-year-old, maybe more than that, floor jack that was a Craftsman jack. It was their, I think they called it their NASCAR race style, something like that. Anyway, let me pick it up here for you. So you can see this thing, it has seen its better days. We're missing the nut from this side. There's one of these aluminum handles that's supposed to go at the back. That's missing, although I know I have it. I have actually seen it since we moved here even. Don't recall what I did with it. You know, faded, it's just cruddy everywhere. The rubber pad that went in here disappeared, I don't know, a few years ago, maybe more than that. And I had a piece of 1x material wood, and I just cut out a circle and stuck it in there so that I wasn't jacking on the actual aluminum pad. Handles are loose, and when you go to jack it up with any weight on it, without anything on it, it works pretty well, although after the first pump or two it doesn't really get anywhere. But with any weight on it, it doesn't do that at all. Which probably just means it's a little bit low on fluid. It's not like it's probably a big deal. Anyway, it's just time to clean it up and show it a little love. So for that, I have purchased, I did look it up. I can buy a complete rebuild kit for the pump if we have to go that far. But I bought some jack oil. I bought a syringe to push the oil down into there, because you really don't need that much, and trying to get it in the hole is difficult sometimes. I bought a handle that is supposed to stretch over this. We'll see. Kind of looks a little too small. And I found, I think, a jack pad that will fit. It's a rubber pad that'll fit in the mount. So that's it for parts. The rest of what I've got is just, we're going to get some cleaner out, clean this thing up, tighten all the bolts, find a nut for over here. I found the lock washer, so I don't know when that fell off, if it was in the move or if it was even before that, but just a lot of these bolts that hold the jack and everything else, hold the pump itself in place, are actually all loose. So just time to clean it up. So probably first I'm gonna pull the handle, pull the cover off here, and I want to clean the pump up. So I'm probably gonna do a little bit of disassembly first. Take a few things off, just clean it all up, and then we'll start putting it back together. So I think what I'm going to do is flip this over, take those springs off, and pull these bolts, just disassemble it so I can clean it up better. I think that's going to be the best. And you can hear there's some air in it. I want to say it was about 10 or 15 years ago, this thing was leaking, and I took the time to basically put new seals in the actually I think I was able just to buy a new jack at that time. I don't even think I rebuilt it. Can't remember exactly though. There's something tight on here at least. Okay. Or they're, like I was thinking, these are left-handed threads. Or at least this side is. Need a pair of snap ring pliers for that pin. And we can take those off and we're about there. Now, just because I was trying to see if I could find any parts, you know, available and all that, I went looking to see if I could find that sticker, and I couldn't find anybody who reproduces it, nor could I find a good enough picture of an original one to where I could make my own. So unfortunately that one's not going to get done. Wasn't so much really planning to take all that apart as that one nut that was missing down here off the wheel kind of just dictated it. Kind of would have thought there would have been bearings in there instead of bushings, but whatever. From this point, I'm going to take this out and shoot with some degreaser out in the driveway and get a garden hose and wash all the pieces and parts off, and I'll come back as soon as I have everything clean. Just trying to see if I can put a little grease back in the wheel here. I think I got some in there. Okay, one other thing I'm going to try. I've never tried this product on also been trying any birds that cut your hand or whatever. I've been trying to file those off. There's some right here, like on this handle, catches the few on this one. In doing that, then what I was about to say is I've never tried this product on painted material before, but it's shark hide metal protectant. And I've used it on other stuff. So back in New Mexico, you could leave stuff in bare metal for ages with very little repercussions. But I bought this quite a few years ago and would use it on some stuff every now and then, or stuff that I just wanted to leave bare metal and see how it, you know, held up and looked. And anyway, this is just a wipe-on protectant, and it's made for bare metal. But I'm wondering whether it might help bring back the finish of the jack. And I thought about trying to paint this, but then I'd have to try and find a Craftsman sticker because I wouldn't be able to stand it, you know. So, not going to happen. I probably should read the instructions. I haven't read this in forever. It says a single wipe's all it takes. And you're supposed to use like a baby diaper or something, but we're not going to quite get that fancy. Anyway, do the other side and a few of the other pieces when I bring them in. We'll see if it holds up, helps at all. Maybe it does nothing. Got all the bolts cleaned. I am going to go ahead and try and get that other side panel in here and get that caster packed up with some grease. And then I think we're going to be just about ready for the reassembly. Looking at this, you can see you can see the copper color. And this, I believe, would have been chromed originally, and what we're seeing is actually the chrome worn off and getting into the nickel and copper undercoatings. So, for the chrome. But like I said, this jack is, gosh, I already forgot, at least 23 or 24 years old. And it's been a good jack, and really I could have just added some oil probably, and it would have just kept functioning. I just felt like it was kind of its turn to get a little love. So let me get the other pieces and we'll put this thing back together. Once again, taking the birds off. So I think we're about ready to put this back together. I've got all my bolts and washers and everything else cleaned up. But what I want to do before I reassemble is fill this thing up with oil again. And on this one, I believe this is the spot where we're going to fill it up. And what I was saying is that oil, at least in the container, looks like there might be a little milky, so we're going to try pouring some of that out. It's pretty dark. I don't know that it's as bad as I was thinking, because it looked milky in there, and it doesn't really look that bad there, but can't hurt to change it out. So you can get jack oil pretty much any auto parts store, hardware store. I think pretty well everybody sells it. I got some that's got the bar's stop leak in it. I don't know that I need it. And I also got a syringe, because if all of this was assembled, it's pretty hard to get down in there. And you can put a short rubber hose on there, that helps. Or, like I was going to do, I was just going to use that syringe, and then you can kind of also measure it. Fill this thing up. Now you don't fill it all the way, you can see about how much we took out. And I know it was a little low. We're going to have to assemble this to get the air out, because you're going to have to be able to pump it. And I can move the plunger a little ways by hand, but not very far. It's got a pretty good spring on it. We're about to overflow it. Probably put a little too much in there. So for now, I'm going to put the screw in. And I had it filled right up to the top there, which is really too much. But we're going to start there, because when we start getting the air out, we'll get pockets of it out and we'll have to add more. But for now, we can start to assemble this. And see, the first thing, we're going to go ahead and put this wheel on. We've got our two get this one in place. Hope if I put it in the right one. Which probably means we need to put the handles on first. Let me get the handles. So, you probably noticed the screws for one side are black and the other side are chrome. It's because, I don't know, quite a few years ago this handle fell off at some point, and took me, never did find the screws that came out of it, probably because I procrastinated on putting it back together to begin with. So by the time I actually got around to it, couldn't find them anymore, so I had to get some new screws. For all the taking care of my tools I talk about, this jack has had some abuse from the standpoint of just getting used, and stuff comes loose, and maybe eventually someday I get around to putting it back together. I hadn't checked these, but I figure on here probably should, and sure enough they're all a little loose. Makes me wonder if there's a burr in there. That one slides right in. Right in. There we go. You guys can see that. It's just a little spreader bar back here. And then this will have this. We need, I think it's the same size as this one. Yes, so let me look and find out what that is. It's M12 175. Let's see if we got one of those on this. Definitely thicker. This side's like a jam nut, but this one will do the job. So that goes like that. This comes around here. What I'm doing is I'm just pulling this up until the jack looks like it will, the bottle jack portion will let me slide everything together to get it to line up. And then that is these bolts. Okay, so we're opening up this here. This is where we fill it. You can see I overfilled it earlier, so that was on me. But with the jack handle loosened, like where you're not gonna, where if you were lowering the jack, I guess. Yeah, you can see I got it way over full, but we'll get it. Anyway, what you're going to do with it loosened, you're just going to pump it out and you see that air coming out. There we go. And now you can see the jack fluid moving, or the hydraulic fluid moving through the jack. Let me get another rag. And you just jack it until you quit seeing air come out, and then add some fluid occasionally. So now this is when, like, I can still get to this one pretty easy, so I'm not going to worry about getting that syringe out. I just hold my finger over the end. You can see it coming right up to the lip there. Hopefully you can see that fluid moving in there. Inside that hole, hopefully you can see that fluid moving. You can see it just starts to overflow still, so it means it's still, I added a little bit too much. Probably should add it a little bit slower. But I think we've got all the air out. So with that, we're going to put the plug back in. And guys, sometimes it's a screw-in plug like this one, and sometimes it's just a rubber plug stuck in the side of the jack. And this is basically just a bottle jack sitting on its side in there. So if you were fixing up a bottle jack, it'd be the same thing. You go looking for the plug in the side of the cylinder body. And now, let that down. I haven't got the springs back on the bottom yet to pull that down, so let's see how it does. That's it. Less than 2 pumps and it's all the way to the top. So we've definitely corrected the problems we were having. We can finish our repair. So, oh no, it wasn't like this. There we go, that makes sense. Just trying to remember how they went. I don't know how much difference it would make, but on mine it's a longer arm on one side than the other, and this one has a larger diameter twist or hook in it, and they come in from under when it's upside down underneath. And that's what pulls the jack back down if there's no weight on it. And I think it's everything here. We can tighten everything up and then put it to use. Oh, we gotta put that end handle on the handle. funny. Should be a 10 millimeter, but the 3/8 fits better. And remember, this one's left-handed. And honestly, the only reason I figured that out was that when I started to try and loosen it earlier, I went this way and it moved just a tiny bit and then it quit. And then I kind of thought about it, I'm like, well, if you were trying to move this, it might make sense that it would be left-handed so it wasn't unscrewing itself all the time. So like I said earlier, let's see, we can, there's that. It's one pump, not even half of a second pump, and it's already all the way up. And even before it was, with nothing on it, it was taking 3 or 4 pumps. So you can see we got it nice and tight, and I think this probably means, because it's not wanting to stay down, I think it probably means I've still got a little, yeah, I have a little too much fluid in there. Just made a nice mess, of course. No big deal, just cleaning it up. Anyway, so that's what happens when you get too much fluid. It won't go all the way down. Alright, we'll tighten up the rest of these. These are 19 millimeter. Which, if you're not familiar, 19 millimeter and 3/4 are basically the same thing, so couldn't find my 19 millimeter wrench. So many of my tools just have not reappeared after the move that today I'm using a 3/4 inch instead of a 19 mil to get that done. I need a second one for that side. All I did with this wheel to clean it up was I used my bench grinder that has a wire wheel on it and just cleaned it up enough to get all the gunk and other stuff out of it. Alright, so we've got all the repairs made. Now let's see if we can dress it up a little bit. And I do mean just a little bit. A couple of things, then we're going to do these dress ups. So this is the oil that came out. This is the oil we're putting back in. It's the Bars Stop Leak Jack oil. I don't know that mine needed, I hadn't noticed any on the floor, but obviously the fluid had gone somewhere at some point. And it's probably losing a little bit on the jack shaft or arm that comes out every time you jack the thing up and down, because there's going to be a small film of oil on there. And I couldn't even tell you how many years it's been since I put any in it. I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock in how dark this oil is, because other brands may not be this yellow kind of clear color. They could be dark colored, and I guarantee I've never dumped that out before. I did, like I said early on, I'm pretty sure I replaced that whole cylinder one time. I think it blew everything out of it, blew all the seals out of it early, and I feel like I replaced that maybe 10, 15, 20, I don't know, 15 years ago, let's say. So that may be the color of the oil that came in it. I don't know. As far as anything else, so what I've got is the oil cost $5.88 on Amazon, and then I got a new jack pad. This one's Torin Big Red Jacks, and there's no sponsors or anything like that on this. This is the only one I could find that was close to the right diameter that would fit in my jack pocket here. Probably use it that way. I like it. It's got these crossbars, which would be probably pretty good for lifting on a at the bottom of the rocker panel on the welded seam there, but it kind of doesn't look like it fits super well. So this originally just had a rubber pad that was only about 1/4 of an inch thick, so this is way more than it had. May or may not continue to use that, but that pad was $8.34, and then I got this piece. As you saw, originally I had a piece of foam over the jack handle, and I need to get some new foam. That other one is all destroyed and torn up and not really functional anymore. But I got this because I thought it would be a good addition to maybe keep from damaging sides of cars and stuff. And it goes on the jack handle. And it's supposed to go over the top of this. It says it's for 1.25 inches. That's what my jack handle was. I measured it before I ordered. Well, I said I did. It's 1.5 inches. So that's not going to work on there, but it will work on this one. So it fits this jack handle, so it's fine. Gives it just a little bit of protection up here at the top so it's not hitting the car. And I've got to get some more of this foam for this jack handle, and I'll find another one of these that's for 1.5 inches handle, not 1.25 inches. I don't know how I managed to measure that wrong. Highly possible I just came out here and measured the wrong jack, who knows. But anyway, that's it for my Craftsman Jack getting a little love and a small rebuild. If you're interested in this cap for the end of your jack handle, this one's made by Protoco, P-R-O-T-O-C-O. And guys, I'll put links for this jack handle topper, the jack fluid, and the jack pad in the description. Again, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all the other YouTube stuff. And I'll see you again in another week or so with a new video. Have a great day. All right, guys. Had a few things that came up, and I thought I filmed it, or if I did, I can't find it. Anyway, I don't know if any of you remember Murdoch from the other videos every now and then. Been blind almost his entire life. But other than when I roll stuff out into his way, he does just fine everywhere. So I put this pad on this jack, and one thing I didn't like is it's kind of domed, so when it would sit on here, it would just kind of rock around. So I ended up running it through my bandsaw and cutting off this little slice, making it flat. Now that fits really well, much happier. And I get to use the side that has the grooves in it for the pinch welds underneath the rocker panels. Instead, I was trying to use it on this side, which it functioned, but it's better this way. This one never had a pad, or if it did, I lost it 20 years ago. The other thing we talked about is these pipe covers or handle covers to protect the paint on your vehicles. And one thing about them, if you buy, having troubles there, buddy? I've got stuff in his way. If you buy jack handle cover, if you look for that, you're gonna find this stuff. He just ran into this tripod. If you look on Amazon or anywhere else, and you buy something that says jack handle cover, you're gonna get this stuff, and it's gonna cost you $10, $12, $15, $20. Sometimes I saw for this handle cover. Comes in different lengths and whatever else, but what I figured out, or what I've known for a long time, is it's really just plumbing insulation, plumbing pipe insulation without a seam in it. You can get it with a seam. That's real popular at like Home Depot and Lowe's and all that. And then it's got adhesive, and you pull some film off and glue it together. And that's what was on here before. Hence the reason it was all beat up and had black tape holding it on and all kinds of stuff. These will get beat up and destroyed. But I just bought one piece of 1.5 inches by 3/8, which is the thickness of the insulation, and one piece of 1.25 inches by 3/8. Slides right over the jack handles, super easy. And it's cheap. Now it's like a couple bucks. So I'll put links to the two I found in here. This is Huamaflex brand. And I used that handle topper that I'd hoped to use over here. Couldn't find one in the right size for this jack handle. It's an 1.5 inch diameter jack handle. Couldn't find one for it, so just put it on this older jack. And I think I mentioned before, I added some oil to this jack, so it works just like it always has. I didn't even really do any cleanup, and it probably should get some. But I just wanted to finish the video out with, hey, I did finish the jacks. I did do what I could do. They're cleaned up and looking good. Or this one's cleaned up and looking good. That one just functions good. It's super heavy, so I don't use it a lot. But anyway, cheap way to do it is just buy insulation for plumbing. They sell it in bigger chunks, and I think this came like an 8-foot piece or something, or maybe it was a 6-foot piece and I just cut it in half. I don't remember. But anyway, I will put links in the description. They're all Amazon links, and as you well know by now, we get a little bit of a kickback for being an Amazon associate. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, all the other YouTube stuff. God bless, and we'll see you again soon. One to bring it up. 2, 3, and the tire's off the ground. That's fixed.